This challenge is called arrow functions. We're going to write some code here to pass this challenge, but first, let's see what we have to do. We have this function, it's called modify arrays. It takes a parameter called nums, and nums here is an array. We need to loop through that array and perform one of the following actions. At every iteration, if the current element is an even number, then we need to multiply it by 2. Otherwise, if it's an odd number, then we have to multiply it by 3. In this challenge, I'm going to use the for each method in JavaScript. On MDN, which is the Mozilla Developer Network, they have a very good example for how to use these methods. For example, if you have 2 arrays and you want to copy every item from this array into that array, this is how you would do it using a traditional for loop. But when you use the for each method, you will call that method on your array, which is this items array. And at every iteration, you're going to get access to the current elements from this array. You can then use this arrow. It basically says what you want to do with that item here. So what I want to do with that item is copy it to this array. So I call the push method on this array, and then I pass my item. So this item is the current element at every iteration from this array. This is how you can solve this challenge. I have the nums array here, which is my parameter. Then I call the for each method on that array. At every iteration, I'm using 2 parameters instead of 1. So the first one here gives me access to the current element inside of this array, nums. And the second argument here gives me access to the current index for my iteration. Now, if I want to assign or modify the values inside of my array, I need to use this brackets operator and then pass in my index. So what I have here is nums. In between this operator, I have my index and I assign it something. So here I'm using a ternary operator where I'm evaluating this condition here. So if item divided by 2 gives me 1, it means that it's an odd number. So I'm going to multiply that number by 3 and then assign that value to the current elements inside of my iteration, meaning that I've modified the current elements. Otherwise, if this gives me 0, which is equal to false, then I'm going to multiply this item by 2 and assign the value to my current elements, which means I'm going to modify it. And this meets what they've written here. If the element is even, meaning this here is 0, then we multiply by 2. Otherwise, if the element is odd, meaning this gave me 1, which is equal to true, then I multiply it by 3. When I'm done, I return my array. Now let's run this code to make sure that we can pass the test cases. We have only one of them. Let's submit this code. And we've passed all the 3 test cases. That's it for arrow functions in JavaScript. If you like my solution and you like my tutorial, please subscribe to my channel and I'll catch you next time.